This is RFC Maki with a new flight report for the online game Birds of Steel, played on the Xbox 360. This game was a game I played just this weekend. Just this week. The last game of the night. I typically record the last game of the night, and this one didn't go so badly for me entirely. Recently, I've been flying the P-40 Kittyhawk in an attempt to unlock the skins. There are skins unlockable up to 100 kills, so this is going to be a long slog. At the start of this game, I had just about 51 kills. I just unlocked a recent skin, so I was trying to reach somewhere up around 55 or close to 60 kills, I think. Maybe I had 55 kills at the beginning of this. The P-40 is a challenging plane to fly because it is a heavy plane, I think, and it feels that way when you take off. Many planes, you can sort of head off the runway and head right towards the center of the field, but I find that this plane is very difficult to get off the ground. You reach the end of the runway, you lift off and have to circle at low altitude for a little while before you gain your speed and circle around. So typically I like to circle the airfield, and after one sort of loop to get above the airfield, I can finally reach flight speed and get to about 1,000 feet, which is a start. And then by the time, at least on this Kuban map, this is the Ruhr map, once you reach, start off and reach the middle of the field, you can gain another 1,000 feet, so you can be at about 2,000 feet. And because this plane is so heavy and because speed matters, I think a good starting flight height of at least 2,000 feet is the way to go. The skin I'm flying with on this plane currently is a British skin that was used in somewhere in Africa, I forget exactly. I think it was a Libya skin. I like it because it has the teeth in the front, and it has the eyes, but also a little bit different skin. This isn't more of a Afghan-based skin. Some of the other skins that are available so far have been for the Pacific Wars. This plane was used in a number of different theaters, and since I'm flying over Germany here, I thought I'd at least fly British colors. Here I've reached the center of the field. There are a couple other players playing the game. In fact, right there, a BF-109 just passed me, and so I tried to reverse on it, but in the reversal, lost sight of the other plane. The P-40 seems to be not an ideal turning plane, but one can turn in it, although one has to be very, very careful about maintaining speed. You turn too much and you lose too much of your speed. There, in an attempt I was trying to follow that 109, found a G50, was following it, and then went head-on with another G50 that shot at me. I intentionally went under it so as not to lead to a collision, but at this point I've lost the initial 109. Can't seem to find it, and am circling. You can see the more I circle, the lower my altitude gets, and we're right over the center of the map here in the middle, which is a bit of a problem. I'm spotting a plane there, but that turns out to be one of my own gladiators, so now I'm trying to gain a little height and to reverse directions to look around a little bit to see if I can't find any enemy planes. One thing I am not doing, however, is checking my 6 very often, looking behind me. Another G50, so again I reverse trying to get behind this plane. I thought I heard some shots coming from behind me, so I checked my 6 there. Turns out it wasn't anybody behind me. It turns out it was that gladiator that you see up above me. They're going after the G50 that I was looking at. So the gladiator's an ally plane. I'm trying to take some shots, so I figured it's just an AI. I don't really care if I steal his kill. I tried to do a couple shots for long distance, but the climbing will cause me to lose speed, and noticed again there's something on my tail. Looks like a smoking G50 back there. So I reversed, give up on the one that I was shooting at, and I'm now spinning around wildly, just trying to make sure that I stay, can get away from these G50s. Sometimes if you turn sharply, you can cause them to give up on you. So I was attempting that, but my speed is typically dropping. I found that this American plane, at least with the P-40, needs to be something around 140, 150 miles per hour in order to keep going. Sorry for that glitch there. In order to keep flying safely. And once again, the more you turn, the more altitude you lose, the more speed you lose. So once again, here I am trying to spot enemy planes. It looks like another Italian G50 maybe. Can't quite tell. Trying to get on its tail. Oh no, this is a 109. Yeah, it was a 109. He reverses. I thought I could get him as he went across me. Took a few shots. I don't know if anything hit. But here he pulls a very nice move. He pulls up, noses over, and does a reverse that could have led to a collision, but essentially reversed quickly enough to where I was unable to track him as I reversed. Now I should have been looking backwards instead of looking forwards, and again, I'm not checking my 6 often enough, but I totally lost sight of that 109, which could harm me. So here I am looking desperate to find anybody, taking a few desperate shots at a G50, and I've lost that 109 at this point, and I'm still circling around again, low out of energy over the center of the airfield. So this is not exactly what you call ideal flying, and I paid the price because I believe it's the same 109, could have been a different one, but a 109 came back and got me. I essentially made 3 mistakes. One is underestimating the skill level of the other players that were out there. Sometimes you can sort of get an idea of how good they are based upon their rank, and I completely underestimated their ability. Second, I was not checking my 6 very much, and third, I lost track of that. Here I actually went to the inside view of my cockpit as I take off again, just to give you a hint. You can look at the dials down left. That second dial, the second big round circle in the lower left there is the speed, and you'll notice that this plane builds up speed slowly. I keep the flaps down until I reach that second tower on the right there, and then put my flaps up and attempt to get over 100 miles an hour if I can help it. At the end of the runway, use just about every inch of the runway that I can. Now, I pulled up a little bit early in this case because I could hear the flak guns, or the anti-aircraft guns at my base, telling me that an enemy was coming, so I quickly checked my radar and saw that, in fact, there was a red dot headed towards my base, some sort of bomber or something. So I pulled up a little bit sooner than I meant. And again, you can see slowly you got to stay low. You got to do a little bit of turning, but not too sharp a turning, just to head back towards a safe area and to try to get that speed up. And you really can't gain any altitude in this plane until you get your speed up to something about 140 miles an hour. So, but here it was a desperate situation. There was somebody coming after my base, and I'm scanning, trying to see if I can't find and look after that plane that's coming after my base there. So I'm circling my airfield in a little bit more desperate way, not giving myself the time to gain speed or altitude. There he goes back there. You can see he's dropped a bomb or fired or something, but it's just blown up one of my guns. Taking off is another plane. Now it looks like a non-player. I don't think I had any players on my own side. I think I had 2 or 3 enemy players playing this game. This was, I should point out, a simulation game. There's the guy I'm tracking him now. He's banking to his left, and I'm coming after him. This is a simulation game, so players are not launched to cockpit view, but they are without any kind of indicators or markers. So I'm trying to reverse on this guy. It looks like he's flying a Fokker with 190, and he's again diving in on my base, firing to see if he can't hit any of the ground crews. And here I am behind him, taking a couple shots. I did a quick burst there, and I was stunned to see that burst landed just perfectly, hit his right wing spar, and caused him to crash. So I got my first kill of the game, basically right after takeoff, defending my own base against a player. So having been free there a little bit, I reverse, try to gain some more speed, get a little bit more altitude, and head back towards the center of the field. And get a nice view of the profile of the P-40 there, and you can see it amusingly on this side of the plane anyway, the call sign, the squadron number that spell, if you include the roundel, you saw the words yoga. Here you can see my speed is something close to what I want it to be, and below it, not on the screen currently, is the altimeter. I'm something about 1,000 feet up in the air at this point, and climbing slightly as I head towards the center of the map. The most difficult thing, I think, to fly about the P-40 is that it includes no cannons. It's all machine guns. I can't remember exactly how many, but I think there are 8 machine guns in the wings, which can do a lot of damage, but you've got to get them lined up just right. There's nothing in the nose, so you've got to really worry about your convergence. And my convergence is set at 150 meters, and which I forget what that translates to in feet, about 500 feet. And it turns out that that's an enemy plane's more or less has to fill, their wings have to fill the circle of my targeting reticle there in order to know that I'm at just about the right distance. I do try a few long distance shots. Here was a sort of a desperate attempt just to get hold of anybody, but it looks like the AI took care of him. I reverse, get a narrow miss with the enemy AI. And again, go nose to nose with another plane. I tried to avoid a collision again with him, and I'm trying to reverse to get on him. Although in the process, I noticed down there to the lower left, flying very low, is an enemy bomber. This is an HE-111, and I've got some speed. A quick long-distance shot once again. I'm going to count that as really good gunnery. I hit him, hit his oil tank, and he immediately, I wasn't sure if he was going to go down, but he immediately goes down, and I was credited with a second player kill. So far, that's 1 death. that I deserved in the first part of the game, and 2 player kills. So from there I reverse, looking to see who's around, and there are planes in every direction. I've got my sights on somebody here. Looks like a 3rd plane pulling up, so I'm really trying to change directions quickly. I switched to where my combat flaps were down for a moment, and then as soon as I could, I put the combat flaps back up again so that I could do some damage to this guy. Planes flying all over, I'm dodging, but my target is the 109 there. Do a quick shot at him, and he goes down. Apparently I hit some part of him, causing him to crash. So that's 3 player kills, and then I pull up. In the process, spot some 250s, and a quick shot there gives me credit for a 4th kill. That was a non-player. That was an AI. So 4 kills right away, not so bad. And the game isn't quite over yet. A big reversal from what happened in the first part of the game. I still think I'm taking my 6 off and on off, but in this case I'm turning a lot more, and in the turning, looking back over the shoulder, at least in the direction of my turn. So if I turn to the right, looking back over my shoulder to the right to see what I can spot. I'm frequently checking the map just to make sure that as far as I can tell, nobody's behind me. I heard some shots and pulled an immediate reaction. You can see a couple planes behind me, so I did a quick dive and reverse once again. Here I am, flying low over the city, but trying to pull some quick turns to keep those planes off my tails and see if I can't reverse onto this plane over here. I've picked another AI as my target, and he's after those guys who's not even looking at me. I try a few shots and nothing seems to be landing much. I don't know, sometimes shots go past him, but I was overshooting him. He dropped down, so I did a little bit of an invert here and fired, and just as I fired, I managed to hit his oil tank, which did some damage, which was pretty good, but I had overshot it by that point, so I lost him in the process. I sort of turned and looked back to see if I could find where he was, and couldn't find him, so yeah, I did some damage. I wasn't so concerned, because again, I'm trying to earn player kills in order to unlock skins, so I hit the guy. I wasn't so concerned about hitting an AI. It wasn't a priority target, so I didn't see him, and I let him go. Again, I'm mostly hunting for enemy players, and you can see, I believe that was him right there, trailing some oil behind him. So I reverse, yeah, there he goes, reverse on him again, and pick him up with his trail of oil. Now, I'll try some shots at him. It's difficult to keep my plane steady, but try a few shots, and again, he goes to fly low into this factory area, and I was concerned about running into one of the towers, and so I was a little bit cautious, firing before I should. I lost energy here, so I couldn't entirely reverse. I have to cut my loop short, and this guy kind of pulls up, but he flies across in front of me. I tried to anticipate where he was going to be, but then he loses control of his plane, and I flip over just to keep an eye on him. There he is spinning out, and he smacks into the ground. So I did not get credit for that kill, having done the damage, but I'm going to go ahead and give myself credit for that kill, because that was it's almost a 5th kill. I did the damage, and eventually he lost control during the dogfight, whether it was mechanical or whether it was a pilot error. Somebody's on my tail. I do some reversing, but at this point, the game comes to a close. Cheers, I'll see you guys next time.